Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C., and I am joined by the D.C. government. This afternoon, we are here to talk about our Summer Crime Prevention Initiative, as well as do one of our monthly neighborhood walks. We're in our wonderful Ward 8 neighborhood, and I'm joined by members of the Metropolitan Police Department. I'm also joined by our office, our Safer Stronger DC Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. And behind me are several members of the cabinet who also participate in ensuring that we have the entire government focused on how we keep our neighborhoods safe during the summer, including Dr. Tanya Royster, who is the director of the district's Department of Behavioral Health, Eli Ross from Veterans Affairs, David Doe from Pacific Islander Affairs, Thomas Bowen, director of the Mayor's Office of Religious Affairs, as well as Jeff Marudian, who is our DDOT director, and several members of our cluster on the department from the Deputy Mayor's Office of Health and Human Services. So we want to thank all of the directors for being present with MPD today. So, what is the Summer Crime Prevention Initiative? It is a coordinated effort to reduce violent crime through strategic prevention and focused enforcement in specific areas across the district. Throughout the Summer Crime Prevention Initiative focuses, number one, on reducing violent crime, removing illegal guns, holding repeat violent offenders accountable, and using all available resources and the latest crime-fighting technology to get the job done. It also includes implementing innovative outreach efforts for the communities in the neighborhood crime initiative area. So, of course, in Washington, D.C., we understand that crime and violence prevention is about more than just policing, and it is reflected in our approach during the summer as well. It's about keeping young people engaged and safe. It's about connecting residents with behavioral health supports and resources, and making sure we help connect residents with employment opportunities as well. So with that, I want to ask Chief Newsham to come up to talk more specifically about this year's initiative.
Okay, thank you and good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, and everyone for joining us here today for the MPD Summer Crime Initiative kickoff. As stated in the past, our goal will remain the same. We aim to reduce crime and the fear of crime to ensure that our communities are safe. A police captain will be assigned to each of these areas, and they will be responsible for crime in those areas during the Summer Crime Initiative period. The captains will use traditional law enforcement efforts focusing on violent crime, illegal firearms, and repeat violent offenders, but more importantly, they will be responsible for ensuring that other needed city services are brought into these areas to address crime at its roots, to prevent crime, and to sustain the crime reductions that we intend to achieve. The captains, who are some of our newer captains on the police department, have volunteered to serve in these roles and bring with them new, or what we would say, fresh ideas, drive, and initiative. Before I introduce the captains, I'm going to give you some highlights from last year's Summer Crime Initiative. There was a 25% reduction in the Summer Crime Initiative areas, 25% reduction in homicides, a 32% reduction in robberies, and a 28% reduction in overall violent crime, with 150 illegal firearms seized. I have to say that I'm extremely proud of our SCI teams. They have been continuously driving down crime year after year, and I anticipate that the same will occur this summer. For 2018, there are 6 specific crime initiative areas. There is one in the 5th District, which encompasses the Langston, Carver, and the Trinidad neighborhoods. And the captain responsible for that will be Captain Duncan Bedlian, who's here. For the 6th District, the Grant Park Northeast boundary will be Captain Duria Habibullah. In the 6th District, in the Greenway area of our city, will be Captain John Branch. In the 7th District, in the Greater Anacostia and the Woodland areas, will be Captain Carlos Harad. Also in the 7th District, in the Congress Heights, Douglas, and Shipley areas, will be Captain Paulette Woodson. And last but certainly not least, in the 7th District, in the Washington Highlands area, will be Captain James Boatler. Every day we strive to reduce crime, and this summer will be no different. I know that sometimes folks during the summer months anticipate that there will be an uptick in crime, and that makes some of our residents nervous. We anticipate to do everything we can do, assisted by the folks who are standing behind me from all our city agencies, to ensure this is the safest summer it can possibly be here in the District of Columbia. We can take any questions that you all might have. Go ahead, Sam.
So, Chief, I was looking at the numbers this morning, and most of the homicides in D.C. occurred in Ward 8. I think you've got about 40 homicides, and more than 20 of them are in this ward. Why is that?
It's hard to say. I mean, whenever you talk about crime, and this is one of the good things about working in Washington, D.C., with all of the agencies here in Washington, D.C., crime is generally a result of lack of opportunity. It's lack of housing, lack of education, lack of substance abuse treatment, lack of mental health treatment. And so, why I say it's really good to work in this city, because you can see that the mayor is committed to bringing all of the resources of the city to address crime. I just came from a conference with law enforcement officials from all over the country, and they're all just kind of learning the things that we already know in Washington, D.C., and that's the police can't do this alone.
We've got 3 of these crime zones in this ward, is my understanding. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
There'll be more officers in this area this summer? Or
there will be, like I said when I was given the preliminary remarks, is that we're going to use traditional law enforcement because there are illegal firearms in our community that have to be removed by the police. There are repeat violent offenders, and there are some folks in here that need to be dealt with in a traditional law enforcement way. But more importantly is to make sure that these services from all of the agencies that you see represented behind me, they're going to make themselves available. They do it every single year. We've been doing this for 10 years. And bringing those services in, I think, is really the key to why we've seen the reductions in crime that we've seen in our city.
How has this one changed from past years, from maybe the first one in, I guess, 2010 when you started this? And what have you learned?
Well, I got to tell you, last year was, and I was looking at the numbers myself over the last 10 years, the reduction last year was one of the largest reductions that we have seen. So I think we're seeing a little bit of synergy. I think we're seeing a lot of increased efforts by everybody that's involved here. So we're hoping, like I said, that we have the same kind of results that we had last year that we do this year.
Anything new, though, this year?
It's been a really effective approach, and I think there are some nuanced differences, but I think it's really it's more of a synergy, and it's a culmination of the efforts of all these agencies. And everybody really seems to be, over the 10-year period, if you ask me, you see everybody with the one kind of common purpose of understanding how their role in their respective agencies can help us reduce crime in our city. And I think that's what's made this so successful.
Chief Newsom, will you be able to you and the mayor give Commander Bryan and them more officers to deal with the problems of guns and violence over here this summer?
Paul, I don't know if you know what I have said, but I feel comfortable with the number of officers that we have on the Metropolitan Police Department. We have over 3,800 police officers here in the District of Columbia. We have over 660 civilians who work on the police department. But if you look at the folks behind me, and those are the directors of the multiple agencies that work across this city that represent about 30,000 employees, all of those folks.
Excuse me.
Yeah, all of those folks. Now, part of their effort is going to be reducing crime in our city, and you can see if you look at the numbers in the district, we're having huge success doing that.
But Chief, can I?
Go ahead.
Just a question for the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, as you know, there are 3 council members today that are calling for an official sanction against Councilman White. A 4th one, we were told this morning, Councilmember Silverberg is considering it. Obviously, over the last 72 hours, there's been some developments over some of these statements he has made and these actions he has taken. Have you been viewing this? And Mayor, what are your thoughts on what's going on with the councilman right now?
What was your question?
What are your thoughts on what has been transcribing with the councilman over the past several days?
Well, here are my thoughts, and this is what I know for sure, that the people of the District of Columbia don't tolerate hate or anti-Semitism in any way, shape, or form. And I believe that the council member has to make that abundantly clear as well. That has not been my experience with him, and I'm hopeful that he will make that clear and that he can stay focused on Ward 8 and the council can stay focused on its business, and the city can move forward.
As executive, do you have any say over what the council does in regards to any kind of censure, or is that out of your purview?
Yeah, I'm not on the council anymore.
We're well aware of that, Mayor, but do you have any
No,
viewpoint on that?
I don't. Yes.
You have over half the homicides in one police district, or basically the same as District 7. So you have half the homicides in one police, and they're not going to be more officers in this district?
Well, I think that if we thought that more officers meant there would be less homicides, then that's exactly what we would have. What we know, however, is what you heard from the chief of police, is that we have to try to identify violent offenders before they commit violence, and we have to create more opportunities in our city. We have to make sure the police have all the resources that they need, the detectives have what they need to solve crimes, but more than that we focus, especially when we know people are less engaged in school or after school activities and are at home in the summer months, that we are providing activities in our recreation centers, at our pools, through summer job employment and through summer school, so that we keep our young people engaged. We have also, and what is new this summer, is that we have a whole new effort supported by the council, our Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, where we have really infused a lot of our nonprofit partners with additional resources so that they are doing some of the preventative efforts. So if we know that there could be some kind of beef spewing, then we have more resources of our own and also in the community to help solve those problems. But no, Sam, none of us are satisfied with any level of violence, concentrated violence or otherwise, in our city. Thank you, everybody.